Hey everybody, this is Matthew Soltesiak, and you're listening to Not the Same Old Lions podcast, part of the Minute Media Podcast Network. The Detroit Lions are now in a new, grittier era, and we look beyond just the kneecaps when it comes to the analysis. I speak with a variety of guests and interview key players, gaining more insight on what makes this team go. Welcome to another episode. In this episode, we recap the Detroit Lions' 38-30 road victory over the Baltimore Ravens on Monday Night Football. This moves the Lions to 2-1, and we're going to discuss each element responsible for the Lions' upset win. That and more. Let's get to it, Lions fans.
This is David Montgomery, and you're listening to Not the Same Old Lions podcast.
Joining me today is Coach Jerry Angers, a former Michigan High School Coach of the Year. He was also named Coach of the Week by the Detroit Lions. He is the Scouting and Training Director for Bull Rush Sports. Coach, good to have you here.
Glad to be here.
No better way than to celebrate a Lions victory on Monday night into Tuesday morning than talking about it on the podcast. Joining both of us is James Cook. He's a senior sports writer for the Traverse City Record Eagle. He was also named the Sports Writer of the Year for Community Newspaper Holdings Incorporated. James, we're happy to have you and your blue Kool-Aid with us.
Good to be here. Yeah, I got the blue Kool-Aid. I got it sitting out here on the ground. I'm actually recording from enemy territory in Wisconsin.
Ooh. Well, we appreciate you making that effort and connecting with us. Folks, today's show is brought to you by our friends at Roaster Jack Coffee Company in Traverse City. They've been roasting incredible beans since 1999. Perfect your morning cup or fueling the whole crew. Order fresh at roasterjack.com. Use the code LIONS. It will get you 20% off. Roaster Jack, brew great coffee and go Lions. Guys, I actually ordered some for the house yesterday, and I think we're going to need to be brewing something tomorrow morning because it's going to be a late night. I think a lot of Lions fans are going to be up late with this one just because this was an incredible game. As we get into this, just want a quick reminder, folks, follow us on social media. Follow us on streaming platforms like YouTube. Would love it if you like and subscribe, and it would mean a lot to us, and love to hear your comments as well. Okay, as we do, guys, give me your overall reaction in just a sentence or two. James, let's start with you.
I'm just going to read the Yahoo headline, which is Detroit looks like an NFL powerhouse again after bullying Baltimore.
Ooh.
That was a show.
All right. Yahoo making a comeback. All right, Coach, how about you? What's yours in a sentence or two?
Wow. First of all, wow. Going into enemy territory and just trusting the process. That's all I can say. Just trusting the process in all three phases of the game.
All right. I'm going to kind of take a line out of James here. I'm not going to make my own quote. I'm going to pull two quotes that we've heard before. I substitute maybe the word they for the word the Lions. But I'm going to say the Lions are who we thought they were, and we didn't learn anything. We just validated what we already knew. I think I'm quoting Dan Campbell right there. That being said, all elements of the game here played a factor. And while that validated it, I believe most ESPN crews were all taking the Ravens in this game. Obviously, the Lions were the underdogs. I think it was 4.5 points. Campbell spoke right after the game. He talked about being complementary football. The offense did things when the defense couldn't do it. The defense did things when the offense couldn't do it. They controlled the game. They controlled time of possession early. So let's start with that for what we liked, you guys. Great start. First drive of the game. Up 7-0 after a 5-minute and 44-second drive. They had another drive in the first half that resulted in a touchdown. That was 10 minutes and 48 seconds going 98.5 yards. And I don't know about you guys, but I was nervous when we got the ball at the 1.5-yard line at that point. And then late in the third quarter, the Lions had the ball at their own 4-yard line and went another 96 yards. Time of possession was big early. It evened out a little bit more towards the end, 33-26. But having that early momentum, Coach, that's got to be great for your defense in this one.
Well, the biggest thing is, I'm just saying 3 first downs from a coaching standpoint. Just get 3 first downs. Just get 3 first down. Let Foxy change the field position. But then when you go on that 98.5 yard drive and score a touchdown, that takes the wind out of the defensive sail. And those guys, they're beat, they're tired, and no better way to stop Lamar Jackson than let him sit on the bench drinking. Maybe he's drinking some blue Kool-Aid.
All right. Well, James, I don't know what Lamar was doing on the sideline. I know there was probably some frustration because he had a lot of downtime on that sideline. But those long, sustained drives, that's kind of what we saw early in some of the Packers' drives, except these resulted in touchdowns. And there was a little bit more creativity, which we can talk about that in a minute. But just talk about that time of possession and the Lions' ultimate ability to rush the game overall.
Yeah, there was two drives, I think, of 95 yards
Mm-hmm.
in
Yep.
this game. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, the Lions had 33 minutes, over 33 minutes of time of possession to under 27 for Baltimore, outrunning them 224 to 85. Who would have had that
Yeah.
with Derrick Henry? I mean, we said in the preview show that they had to take either Henry or Lamar out of the game, and they kind of did a pretty good job. Early on, Henry was rolling, and then in the last three quarters of the game, he was almost nowhere to be found. And then they just kind of mitigated Lamar Jackson and did a pretty good job of getting pressure on him too.
Yeah. Two drives of 95 yards or more the Lions had tonight. The last time the Ravens gave up a drive of 95 yards for a touchdown at home was 2001, and the Lions did it to them twice tonight. And the Lions ended the game with a pretty solid rushing average. Obviously, the David Montgomery 72 yarder is going to really help that, but it put him at 5.9. At halftime, they were only like at 2.7. It wasn't that stellar in the first half for their overall per carry, but they were mixing up enough things and having some successes. And that lateral, I think, for -9 yards probably played into that, perhaps, which was a weird play, which we can get into. But, Coach, the ground game, and we talked about this, the best defense against Lamar Jackson is just keeping him off the field. And the Lions really did that early on in this game to make sure that Baltimore didn't jump out to a big lead, which is what we said was a key. You said survive that first quarter, and they did that.
Yeah, that was huge, and to survive it with that big drive, and to take, was it 10 minutes? You said, I think there was 10 minutes off the clock. That's just the will. That's just the Lions, saying this is what we came to do. Hank has done a phenomenal job with that offensive line, and yeah, 2.5, 3 yards of carry, but with both those backs, as we saw today, at any moment they can pop off a 70-yarder or a 40-yarder, and I think that's the thing is everybody's got to understand that nobody carries the ball for 5.9 per carry. It usually ends up a 2, a 3, a 1, a 3, a 4, a 40. And that's what the Lions did. And the big thing with that is they stuck to their game plan. Run the football, throw it when they needed to. Just a great game plan. We can
And
go to
James, I
that in a
mean,
minute because that three guys in the backfield, I'm so happy with that one.
oh my gosh, that formation was
That I
awesome.
formation.
Yeah, the I formation.
Triple I.
Yeah. And you saw variations of it. We were hoping we would see a little bit more of that. But yeah, 224 yards. That is not a misprint. It's not 124. It's 224. When David Montgomery ran that thing, it reminded me a little bit of the Chargers game 2 years ago. And then you see J-Mo on the screen coming up behind him like he's jogging. I still remember that game 2 years ago. Demo's like, I'm running as fast as I can. And J-Mo's just kind of jogging next to me. But man, David Montgomery, 12 carries, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns. Him and Gibbs, each 2 touchdowns. The Lions' running game got the job done that needed it to get done. And the passing game, too, it was so complimentary on offense. And that starts with the offensive line. They were communicating well on the road in a hostile environment, James. And Jared Goff got sacked 0 times.
Yeah, 0 times. I think they showed a stat during the game that the Ravens had a sack for 57 straight games,
Yeah.
which was I think the longest streak in the NFL that was going presently. So the Lions snapped that. The offensive line was doing great. You heard the broadcast crew praising the young guards over and over and over again, and the rest of the whole line. They were just that offensive line was just pretty magnificent. And hey, look what happens when you run the ball a lot in the second half.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially in crucial times in the fourth quarter, and they were able to continue to do that. Coach, we've seen a huge progression in 3 weeks from this offensive line. I know you're not surprised by that. Tell the listeners why you're not.
Well, and I think, the biggest thing is the dual blocks, the double team blocks climb to linebacker, the missed assignments in week one. We talked about it, the coaches talked about it. These guys realize first threat in the gap, you double them and you walk them to the linebacker. Smith got doubled, hammered, pounded, and I'm going to go back and watch how many times they lit up Smith, the great linebacker, whether it was Laporta on an insert or Monty or any of those things. So, and that's the thing is the progression, process, and that's what they did. And here's the other thing too. We talked a couple weeks ago. Why do we have St. Brown in the backfield? And I think I told you guys, that's part of coaching. They're working on something that's going to come down the road. Option touchdown. I mean, the stuff that the Lions continue to do, and you watch and see, even that triple I, the toss, and then the power lead with the fake toss out of it went for I think it was a first down on that. I mean, there's so many things that I can't wait to watch this film, probably for about 5 hours tomorrow, because the coaching that was done by that offense for this game was unbelievable.
Incredible. Yeah, the offensive line did its job. And the receivers, I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7 catches, 77 yards, a touchdown on 8 targets. There was only one he didn't catch, which was not the greatest throw. And J-Mo, they went to him early, right away. He made 2 crucial catches early on, and while he didn't catch anything else later in the game, he was a factor in the coverage and pulling people open. One of those big guys was Sam Laporta, some big-time third down catches, and you figure, all right, well, if the Ravens are going to take St. Brown away, you're going to get Laporta in there. James, what did you see about the passing game? Anything else on offense you want to comment on before we move over to the defense?
Well, I mean, my prediction that Isaac Taselaw would catch a ball with 2 hands didn't come true because he had 0 catches in this game. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
It's
he
okay.
Started too. They started him.
He did. I saw that, Coach.
And again, that's that stuff that, oh my God, if he's in the game, they're probably going deep. Well, the defense changed on it, or there was a call, or there was a check call. Just everything they did, was perfect. And not, I shouldn't say perfect, but the process of the development and what we're looking for going down the road.
Yeah. And I mean, Lamar Jackson ended the game with an incredible quarterback rating. We'll get to the Lions defense in a minute. That being said, Jared Goff was extremely efficient and extremely on target when it mattered the most. 1 touchdown, no interceptions, had an incredible ground game to work with. The play action pass set up some things. The Lions offense wasn't perfect. There were some plays where, there were some missed assignments on blocking early that resulted in a couple lost plays. The Ravens did do a good job early on. Like I said, the halftime stat was about 2.7 yards a carry for the Lions, which is not great. But unlike last year, they didn't go away from it. Even, last year when it was working, they would go away from it in the second half. But 2.7 in the first half, they ended the game with 5.9.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, going back to Goff, is coming into this, he was 0-3 career against the Ravens with 0 touchdowns and 3 picks. So he came into this game, turned the ball over 0 times. The Lions did as a whole, 0 turnovers, which we all said was a key to the game. And just Goff coming in and getting just another one of those monkeys off his back.
Yep. And again, Dan Campbell said it was complimentary because the Lions went and got a touchdown. Then the Ravens did. Then when the Lions went 3 and out, the Lions forced the Ravens 3 and out. There's a lot to like about the defense in this game. Yeah, Lamar Jackson had an incredible rating, but the Lions did a pretty darn good job against this Ravens team. And some of those yards came, on that final drive. But, Lamar Jackson was throwing on target in this game. He wasn't missing many guys. I mean, especially the Mark Andrews touchdown pass was on 3rd and long, really good. But let's talk about this Lions defense. You already said it, James. 7 sacks in this game. Dan Campbell said they feel good about what they have here. He said that after the game. he made a mention about a comment about, I thought you were going to ask me about motion again or something. But he could have been talking about defensive end too, Coach, because Al-Quadin Muhammad lived up to some of the hype you and James were throwing.
Well, and I'll tell you, Muhammad sticks out because he had the two stacks, but that whole defensive line, the process, the lane integrity, the gap responsibilities, the spying on Lamar. You looked when Lamar, how many times is Lamar, and we've watched him over the years, where he just runs around and makes things happen. And every time he tried to run around, there was somebody in his face, whether Branch was spying him from the safety spot, or I'm going to bring up Trevor. Glad to have him back.
What a
tackle.
play.
Oh, I mean, and I was kind of excited about that. He's kind of one of my favorite players. But anyways, I don't want to say that because then things happen. But and I just think that's the whole thing when you look at it. The way the defense line collapsed. I can't picture a time where we got out of our rush lanes. I can't picture a time where we chose to go to the wrong gap or tried to make a play. It was what I want to say, a Picasso or something like that. It was just beautiful from the defense mind.
Well, I mean, Henry had that 28-yard run. He had
Yeah.
22 yards rushing the rest of the football game. So it's 4.2 yards per carry is misleading. And you're kind of sitting here as if you look at the stats, you're like, why did Henry only carry the ball 12 times in that game? But the Lions held it much more manageable after that. And you're right. I got to go back to that Trevor Nowaske play a minute, because how many starting linebackers, top two linebackers on any football team, make the play that he made right there? It was one-on-one with Lamar Jackson. And I think 9 times out of 10, no matter who that linebacker is, you're taking Lamar Jackson. And he held his ground and made the tackle. I mean, James, that's some growth you're seeing out of Trevor, and just showing the appreciation for the depth the Lions have at linebacker.
Yeah, he made a great play there. And like you said, he held his ground. He kept both feet on the ground so that he could go either way, and he didn't commit. He made Lamar commit, and he reacted to him and made the play. So I mean, so he put himself not in a bad position on that play. And you get some guys that just pick one side or the other, I guess, when they're trying to tackle Lamar, or they just dive. And it's just like, you can't do that. He's way too good of a quarterback. So yeah, that play by Trevor was outstanding.
Yeah, and Derrick Brooks, I said Derrick.
Barnes.
Sorry, Derrick Barnes. I did that before, man, and I knew I was wrong. But Derrick Barnes, there was a play where he was like not in the play, and then he gets into the play, and he got Lamar. I mean, there were so many times, Coach, like you said, there was a player, just one player, where they got involved in the play, and they kept it from becoming a 25 or 30-yard scramble. And so it really was a team effort on the defensive line and on the linebacking crew, Coach. So what else did you see out of the
Yeah.
defense?
That linebacking course, I mean, they're good. I mean, Campbell. I felt like Campbell had 30 tackles, but it says he only had 8. Maybe he had 8 in the first 9. Anyways, and here's something I want to talk about. One that I watched. 2 guys are coming on Lamar. I believe it was Anzalone jumps. Okay, which is oh no, don't do that. But the key was there's 2 guys right there. It's like and it could have been Barnes, could have been Campbell. I don't know. Even remember. I just remember Anzalone kind of jumping to make him change the throw. But there was another guy in his hip going, "You jump, I'll make him pull it down, and I'll make the tackle." The team, the teamwork, like again, the gap integrity, staying in their gap, staying in their rush lanes, knew that they had him hemmed in. And here, the other thing too is knowing that your brother to your right, your brother to your left, or your brother behind you is going to be there, and that's how it looks. So TTB, I used to call it, trap the ball, and man, did they do a great job doing that.
They really did. James, what did you want to add on the defensive side there?
Yeah, that one play I think that you're referring to about Barnes, you had Anzalone was coming on that play also,
Mhm.
coming up. I mean, if I've watched on the TV, he was coming up on the right side, and Lamar had to kind of step up in the pocket, and I think Barnes was almost the spy, I think, kind of on that play. And when he saw Anzalone kind of flush him a little bit, he just came up on the play and just came up enough that he got him before the line of scrimmage, got credit for a sack, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep, that was great. And so can we go into the goal line stand, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Cunningham had a big play on that drive. I mean, it's like 3rd and goal from the 1, and you're like, okay, it's likely. I mean, they're gonna try and run it and give it to Derrick Henry, and he's gonna get in. But they held, and then I mean, Cunningham was huge on that, and then Campbell with the sack, fumble, 4th down thing. Like, coach, that is huge. I mean, that was a momentum holder.
But no doubt. And the whole thing, the whole time I'm at that going, please Reed, pick that thing up and take it back to the 50 or 40 or 30. So we got a short field, but yeah, that's, and again, let's go back to the offense. The offense didn't score. It was 3 and out, threw the ball. I'm going to touch base on that. But that was Campbell's, that's his aggressiveness. That was his saying, okay, we just got a turnover. We're going to go down and get 3 points out of this. And again, it kind of backfired a little bit. But we still had a shot at 3. So, I didn't have a problem or concern with that. But the defense with just that, keeping him, not letting him run around. That play reminded me of the one where last year where he ran around and threw the ball across his body in the back left end zone. I can't remember which game that was. I'm talking Lamar, and there was he couldn't do that with us. There was somebody in his face no matter where he looked. And so just a great team effort.
Yeah, and James, on that goal line stand, you had 2 guys there, and they were not going to let Lamar run it, and then he kind of wanted to throw it, but we had enough guys there that it prevented either of those things. And so that held things for the time, that kept the Lions up 21-14, and for a temporary amount of time, it gave them a nice bit of momentum, and it made the Ravens work harder to get in the end zone.
Yeah, it did. I mean, they weren't able to necessarily turn that into points or anything like that, but that was a massive momentum swing, I think. Just, Cunningham making that play on 3rd down and then Campbell following it up with the 4th down. Just a huge play. I think the fact that the Lions go for it on 4th and then other teams can't is just such a juxtaposition. You're like, we're doing this and you're not, and they just take it away. I mean, that's got to just be such a huge ego boost for that defense and the offense, even of just we can do this.
Yeah, the 3 for 3 on 4th downs, including one on that opening drive that resulted in the touchdown. Ravens were 0 for 1 on 4th down. And as coach says, everything's on tape. We've heard it last year. We saw it last year where the Lions weren't actually going to hike the ball, but they got the other team to jump off sides. And then if the other team says, well, wait, they might not go for it, so we want to be relaxed, so we don't jump, and then the Lions take care of business. Yeah, the defense did really well overall. Almost a couple of interceptions. That could have been a game changer right there, but the Lions did survive that as well. Anything else you want to talk about what you liked before we continue on? And well, we got more good things to talk about, but just on that main part. James?
Yeah, I mean, holding Derrick Henry to 50 yards and more than half of that came on 1 carry is just incredible. I mean, this is a guy who has almost 12,000 yards, I think, in the NFL. Here's the crazy statistic I found about Derrick Henry. In high school, he ran for 12,000 yards.
What?
Yeah.
Averaged over 3,000 yards a game in high school, or a season in high school.
Wow.
Never had a game in high school where he did not run for 100 yards.
That is
I can't imagine trying to tackle that guy though if you're a high school linebacker.
Yeah. He played Division 8 or Division 7 football, but still.
Well, they were saying on the broadcast that like Derrick Henry is bigger than almost all the Lions linebackers.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
But I mean, the play calling was really creative. I loved the play calling by the Lions tonight. I mean, you had the pass to Monty back to Goff for the completion. You already mentioned this earlier, but the pitch to St. Brown with the pitch to Gibbs for the touchdown. I believe that was a 4th down play as well. And so, Coach, what did you see out of the play calling on both sides of the ball? Because really, Calvin Shepard did a great job as well.
Yeah, offensively, just that they stuck to their game plan and they said they were going to run the ball. So, and the thing is when I think it was 11 or 12 rushes on that first long drive. I think we had 12. I think we ran the ball 12 times on that. That just wears on a defense. And so they're sticking to that game plan there, which then opens up these little trick plays. That opens up, they don't know what's coming at them, especially with the Lions, because you don't know. They're running the ball. All of a sudden, now they're going to start throwing the ball. And so the play calling with that, and then going back to you talked about the Laporta catches, setting that inside, setting him into those zones, and basically running off Hamilton. Let's run Hamilton off. He's supposedly the best safety in the game. Well, the Lions ran him off. And with all our speed, we talked about this. We have guys that can take the top off. We have a guy that can take the top off, and we got a guy that can catch the ball better than anybody in the league. And number 14, I'll argue that with anybody. I'll put him against anybody. And then you have to worry about the tight end. Oh, maybe we'll run the ball. Monty, the big dude. I mean, never mind. I mean, it's just unbelievable what they did. So and we, like you said, how much more can we talk positively? It'll be 5 o'clock in the morning before we get done.
Well, yeah, and having both guys in the backfield, they didn't just do the I formation; they split them out to each side too, which is what I was waiting to see. And so,
did you see the interview before the game when they
no.
asked? They were talking to Gibbs about all the thing, and they asked him, "When are the two of you going to be in the backfield together?" And Gibbs smiled and just went, "Oh, I don't know, sometime." Or something. I don't remember exactly, but I looked at it, I went, they're using double back. They're going to run both those guys. It was the interview with he was with Stephen A. Smith, and oh, it was classic.
Nice.
They were trying to get him to tip his hat, and he wasn't playing with that at all.
Yeah. And Laporta was just a first down machine
Yeah,
in the first half. It's like when they got to third down, it's like, oh, it's third and long, we'll just throw it to Laporta, get a first down. You talk about Kyle Hamilton, early in the game, they put him one-on-one with St. Brown, and who got the touchdown
yeah,
on that play? I mean, that was a great play. I was a little bit worried when he threw that ball because Hamilton was right there in coverage.
yeah.
Yeah,
Threw him open. He threw him open. That did, yeah.
Hmm.
that was
Awesome.
an incredible touchdown pass.
Mhm.
So I want to I want to hit on special teams a little bit. That there were some issues, but I want to say some good things. Jake Bates saved a touchdown.
Oh,
He saved a touchdown on the kick return, and he almost. I said he was going to have a meaningful kick in this game.
yeah.
Okay, and he almost set the NFL record. He was like, it looked like he may have had the distance. He was just off a little bit. It was real close. 67 yards would have been incredible. He did make a field goal, though, later in the game that I did think was meaningful because it then did make Baltimore have to adjust their plan of attack a little bit. But that touchdown saving tackle, yes, Baltimore did go eventually score on that drive, but they had to work for it. They didn't give up the explosive, easy one on that thing, which would have been a little bit frustrating right after the Lions had scored.
Mhm.
So, all right, guys, we're going to touch on a couple concerns or whatever. The Lions beat the Baltimore Ravens in a game that most everybody was picking them to lose. So, you won the football game and you dominated it in many ways more than an 8-point score, even though they scored that touchdown late. The Lions had put it away, pretty much. Some penalties hurt. There was that face mask penalty on Mahogany that backed him up 15 yards. There was another penalty that's escaping me right now. Some penalties were ticky-tacky. The Terry Arnold penalty, you know what?
I
Call
didn't
the
like
other
that one.
penalty as well then. Call them both. Because
Yeah,
I'm not saying
exactly.
Arnold was innocent, but when the other guy's got his hand up there, I think it's a both-way thing.
Yeah, I felt there was a few calls in there. It was like we got to make sure the Ravens got a shot at winning this. Again, I hate to say that. I don't
Yeah.
try to blame it, right? Don't you agree? I don't try to blame the officials, but yeah, the one
Nope.
on Arnold, yeah, the face mask was dead to right. What was the other one? Was there
The low block on Branch.
oh, that was horrible.
Yes,
Horrible.
Oh,
Very bad, especially because the Lions actually, it was reported before this game, they were saying a lot of guys were going low on Hutch, and the ESPN pregame guys said that's part of playing life on the as a defender, is that what players will do to you. And so, I guess I need a little bit better clarification on what a illegal low block is, and regardless of what it is, that wasn't it when it got called on Branch.
You can't
Yeah.
you can't attack. You can't cut the lead blocker on a pull or a trap or any of those when there's a lead blocker coming out. You can't come in there and take him out at the legs. But the
Okay.
key with that, yeah, but the key with that one was he was already bending in to make the tackle, and they both kind of just collided. It wasn't, there's. Yeah, I thought it was bad. I think it was, ticky tacky.
Yeah.
I don't think the guy saw the whole play. I think all he saw was just at the end when Branch was going into his legs. So
Yeah, and Branch was going in backwards. He was
yeah,
blocking with his back.
yeah.
I just didn't see that at all. Even the TV commentators didn't agree with that call.
Right.
Now, the next thing is one that some people are going to be maybe frustrated about. Coach already kind of addressed this, though. After the Lions held Baltimore on that goal line stand, there's about a minute and a half left in the game. The Lions basically went 3 and out, and then the Ravens had time to go down the field. The Lions got a 5-yard penalty, and then time just didn't run because they were passing the ball, and so the Ravens didn't have to use that. Coach, you said the Lions were trying to be aggressive, and that's just what they were doing.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with it. Normally the Lions, normally the NFL, they always say take that first run and let's see what we get out of it, and then can we be aggressive from there? Well, we got a 5-yard first down penalty on that. I mean they had held the receiver or whatever, legal contact. So we had already moved the chains. We just didn't get we didn't get the play calls, just didn't roll into it. And the thing I look at Lamar, whether he had 2 timeouts left or 0 timeouts left with a minute or 50 seconds, he's still the best quarterback athlete in the game. And whether he's got a minute 20 or 48 seconds, he can still drive you down that quick. So I think that they were aggressive and they went after it, and it almost backfired, but it did not.
There you go. And I don't know if we talked about this, what we liked, so we're gonna have to get back to it. But somehow we missed it. There were so many things to like. So I'm gonna come back to what we liked in a minute here. But one other thing, the Lions had a chance for 2 interceptions in the third quarter. And again, they won the turnover battle 1-0, but that drive ended in a Ravens touchdown, and that could have been a difference maker by not coming up with one of those. Is that kind of what you guys saw, that could have been a pivotal thing?
Yeah.
All right, James.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Well, Branch was one of them. Branch had the one earlier, and I can't remember the second one, who the other one was.
When Derrick Henry threw it and Reed almost high pointed in the end
In
zone.
the end zone. Yeah.
Henry might have been the first running back to ever have a fumble and an interception in one game.
And Lamar was wide open on their side of the field if he just throws it back
open.
over there.
But again, those are ones that we have to take advantage of. Especially a game like that, those were like, oh my God, this isn't good. This isn't good. But for some reason, even when we didn't get it, I felt like I don't think we're going to lose this football game. We're just playing well. I mean, we're just playing so well that but you have to come down with those. Those are game changers.
Yeah. And then I guess a couple of the things that were confusing was I still don't think that was a lateral on the Lions' second drive. I do feel like it was a forward pass. Making it 2nd and 19 really changed the complexion of it. What did you guys see on that play?
I saw a ball that traveled exactly perpendicular. It did not go backwards. I don't think there was any way, if that had been reviewable or been reviewed, that they would have kept that as being a backwards pass, and then Lions would have had just a regular old 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 19. So that could have changed the whole complexion of that drive.
For sure. And the other thing that wasn't reviewable was that field goal the Ravens made. I mean, that one was like, is that good or not? It's rare that you have them like that. But with these kickers becoming what they're becoming, do the goalposts need to go higher? I mean, do they need to add an extra 10 feet in height on each of them? I don't know. And I don't know aerodynamics for how you make it strong so it stays there. But that one was a little close too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought so. And the rule on that is weird too, in that if it goes over the crossbar, essentially you're wider because if it goes over the crossbar, it counts like it's good. Whereas if that ball is 5 feet lower, it's going to hit the crossbar and not be good.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, you're
so,
right.
so so
Yep.
going straight over it, it gives you extra width essentially.
So yeah, those were my things there. Uh, I gotta want to, as we get back to good things. All right. I want to say thank you to Roaster Jack Coffee Company for supporting the show. Folks, order fresh, roasted to order coffee at roasterjack.com. And if you use the code LIONS, you get 20% off. Can't beat that. Um, we didn't talk about the Hutchinson Derrick Henry fumble that well. We talked about it a little bit. We talked about Derrick Henry fumbling it, but the effort Hutchinson made to come up from behind him to knock that out, I'm going to put that as one of our pivotal moments, one of the turning points in the game, because that got the ball back to the Lions. That was, I believe it was a 7 point, the Detroit Lions lead at that point. It resulted in a field goal, I'm pretty sure, which put us up by 10. But it made it a 2 point contest, 2 score contest. And who recovered that fumble? You guys remember?
DJ Reed,
Yes, thank you.
yeah,
Ah,
Reed. It gave him a 7 point lead at that point. At that point,
Yes.
okay. So wait, so they had a 7 point lead?
We're
no,
at four.
it gave him a 7 point lead at that point.
Okay, gotcha. So I mean, Derrick Henry did it again, right, with that fumble there, and that just really changed things for the Lions.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So
Well, and, the thing too about Hutch is that, Hutch did his first job was to spy on or look or make sure Lamar didn't have the ball or Lamar was going to, wheel out of there. Then you got to take the other 10 guys did their job exactly right, which gave an opportunity for Hutch to come in behind and knock that ball out. I mean, there's just, those are just, it's just amazing on that. Hutch, probably could have went for the tackle first, but hey, my responsibility is Henry on this play. And I mean, I'm sorry, my responsibility is Lamar on this play. And then the athleticism and the work ethics, and like they said about Muhammad, he may not be the best defensive end, but man, is that dog work hard.
yeah, great effort. And you're right, the Lions were up by 4. And then if the Ravens had the ball and were able to go down and do something with it, that would
Mhm.
have changed the game quite a bit. So
Hmm.
putting them back up by 7 was huge.
Mhm.
So other turning point, Coach. What else was a turning point or a pivotal moment for you in this game?
God, there's just so many. Muhammad chasing Lamar down from the backside. Yeah, I'm going to go with the catch from Saint on the fourth down play. I,
That's a
that that
pivotal moment.
that was a huge moment. That knocked the sail out. That took their legs out from under them. We know we're going for it on fourth down. Even if the pass isn't completed, we created a holding call on the safety.
Yep.
And so that's such a pivotal point because that is the Detroit Lions through and through. We're going for it on fourth down. We don't care who we're playing, where we're at. This is our MO. This is what we do. And that was just to knock it out. I mean, that put the game away, and then we let them score, which that's not a pivotal moment. So
Right. All right. Well, let's move to our play of the game. We each choose a play of the game. We don't necessarily talk about it ahead of time. We might have the same one. We may have a different one. James, you want to go first?
Yeah, I think I got to kind of echo what a coach said, and that pass to St. Brown,
mhm.
that was such a good throw by Goff. Such a calm, composed, just sat there, waited for it to come open, and just floated it so perfect.
Fourth
I
and
mean
two,
that,
the 4th and 2 pass, or the
yeah,
touchdown pass?
the 4th and 2.
Yep.
That was the backbreaker, I think, for them. I mean, it allowed the Lions to milk more clock. They eventually scored on that, and I think that was a dagger in the game for them, and it was just such a perfect pass by Goff. And everybody's through the years has criticized Goff for not being big in big moments, and he was huge in that moment.
Coach, is that your play of the game as well, or do you have something different?
Man, I'm Yeah, I'm going to go with that one too. I can't. I mean, there's just so many, but that was that. Just like you said, it was the dagger.
Yeah, I looked at some. I was thinking the Bates touchdown saving tackle, but you know what? The Ravens scored on that drive. I thought about the the forced fumble by Hutch. I thought about the, you know, goal line stand, but on 4th and 2, the Lions go to St. Brown. Goff throws the ball. We saw the Lions beat the Packers on 4th down in Lambeau. James saw it in person, right? The Lions threw the ball. And this wasn't just a 3-yard, 4-yard. This was a 20-yard pass play. And it that was it. And it was so well executed. So I guess it's 3 for 3, man. We all saw the same thing. Okay, well, let's hit some major storylines coming out of this game, and then we'll share any final thoughts. Major storyline, the Lions defense. 7 sacks on Lamar Jackson. That's got to be a big storyline right there. And the Lions gave up 0. That contrast there, James, has got to speak volumes on the talk shows tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have been able to hear it or not, but there's a thunderstorm here. And so it might just sound like the Lions defensive line getting more pressure on Lamar. But just getting 7 sacks, 2.5 from Muhammad, huge game. All of that without Aline, without Levi, without Davenport, Hassanin, all those guys. You had now you pretty much have to believe Dan Campbell when he says we're good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, a total group effort with that. 7 sacks, 6 tackle for losses. Coach, what's a storyline you see coming out of this one?
Well, I think that just the 7 sacks, but the continued tracking Lamar. Like I said, that Muhammad one where he caught him from behind, the not letting Henry get started. Henry got started on that 28-yard carry. We talked about that. We have to knock the O line back so Derrick Henry can't put his foot in the dirt. They were talking about he's the second fastest guy to the line of scrimmage, like Gibbs. Yeah, and that 28, he was like 11. I can't 11. I don't remember exactly what they said. He was flying, but we pinned him, we pushed him, we gained the line of scrimmage. So and the relentless effort by everybody on that defensive line, well, linebackers too, the whole defense, but the relentless effort. O'Connor. I mean, we can go on and on. I mean, Wingo didn't even suit up, and I just did a thing on Wingo last week that we're going to need him because of his speed, and then he doesn't even. Then he's inactive. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I don't know what was. I mean, and they played Tyler Lacey.
Lacey and we was on special teams. So and
Yeah,
Lacey had a pressure on this one, I believe. So hey, we're good.
We're good. And Craig Reynolds didn't suit up in this one. They had Vaki at kick return with Sailors. I think that might have been part of the reason.
Mhm.
But Campbell even talked about it in his post-game presser that Malik Washington gave them a lot of looks in practice this week. And they said the first day or two, it wasn't good, but it got better every day. And so that defense, though, I mean, I've never seen the Lions defense play that well against a quarterback who can run as well as Lamar. And again, Lamar runs better than everybody, right? But that effort right there, let me rephrase this. I don't think I've seen another team's defense play as well as the Lions did when they play against Lamar Jackson, because that was a total team effort. Multiple guys were stepping up in different spots. So complimentary football, the Lions offense took control and they had the time of possession, and all those things played into it. Well,
One
go
thing
ahead.
real quick. We also have the DBs. They must have had some pretty good coverage backside there too. Where Lamar had to pull it down, and so that's I mean but again, that's complimentary football, like you said.
Yep, there were some times they got open and Lamar hit things on great targets, but as a whole, the whole team played together. And unexpectedly, the Packers lost to the Cleveland Browns, so the Lions find themselves tied for the NFC North lead. Obviously, they got the head-to-head thing right now, but they're both 2-1. Another major storyline is who is jumping back on the Lions bandwagon, the Lions ship. I said last week that people were looking for life rafts to come back because everybody was jumping off after week 1. But man, all you're going to hear now is the Lions. People can't wait to see the Lions play Philly. And they go, it's 1 week at a time, and I'm not jumping that far out at all. But you're going to hear all the talking heads, James, tomorrow morning praising the Lions, who were just doubting them 10 days ago.
Yeah, I think so completely. Like you said, everybody on ESPN picked the Ravens, every one of them. I didn't see anybody pick the Lions in this game. So things are going to come back around. If they keep doing this, they'll be the darlings. Their schedule, their next 3 games are ones that they will be favored in, I would think. So you get to 5-1, and the Packers have a couple of tough games coming up, and the game against the Browns just shows you that you can lose any game, though.
Yep, and the Lions play the Browns this week. So, you know what? It will not be easy. They will not take them lightly. And, one of the good things is by the Lions losing their first game, nobody from the Lions team said, I think we're going to go undefeated because we're better than everybody. Because I heard another team did that this past week, and it came back to bite them because they're no longer undefeated. So, but yeah, so Coach, the narratives are going to flip back and forth, but, the Green Bay Packers and the Lions are going to be in the same conversation now. I know you don't care about that conversation, but everybody was already anointing the Green Bay Packers, the leaders, the winners of the division after week 1, maybe even after week 2. But I think the Lions have shown that, I said it to you guys during this game, no matter how the game ended, we have a team capable of going to the NFC Championship game. There's no doubt in my mind that we have that caliber team and coaching. And then we ended up winning the game as well. So that even adds to it. But I'm feeling very, very bullish on the Lions right now. And coming into this game, I just wanted the Lions to maybe come out with a victory or keep it close, just show that they could play. Because I do think the Ravens look like the most dangerous team in the AFC. Even though they've lost games, they seem to be the most potent one. So what are some of your thoughts on those things I laid out there, Coach?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's the thing is, and it's Dan Campbell won't allow his team to read their press clippings. I don't think their team will read their press clippings. I know they're going to look at this week coming up, and they're probably, they're going to enjoy this. It's a short week, and they got to go against the best defensive lineman in the NFL, and close to being the most dominating defensive lineman of all times. And I think the Lions, and you see what they do, and I think that's what they're going to have to. And we're on a short week, but they'll enjoy it today on their short flight home, and and probably enjoy it a little bit tomorrow. Probably have an off day tomorrow, but Tuesday I know they'll be back grinding and getting ready for next Sunday.
All right, James, how about you? Any thoughts on any of those things, or final thoughts as we get things to wrap up?
Yeah, the Lions had more yards in sack losses than Derrick Henry had rushing yards.
Oh, ouch.
That'll change the complexion of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 55 yards in the losses on the 7 sacks that the Lions got to 50 yards for Derrick Henry. And remember what the Browns did against Derrick Henry too. So next week is not going to be easy. I don't see the Lions replicating 38 carries between Gibbs and Montgomery again.
Oh, well, Jared Goff had 4 in there, including a 5-yard run. Okay. And
so again, they would have been 34, one short of our 35.
There you go. And I want to say that quarterback sneak play with Jared Goff was pretty smart because nobody saw that one coming. That was on a 3rd down play, got him a 1st down. So, okay. Some people are going to have to go to sleep because we do all have to wake up in the morning. James, any last thoughts? Any final words as we get out of here?
We're good.
All right, Coach.
Great dub. 1-0 starting Tuesday.
Coach, if you didn't say 1-0, I was going to say it for you. Well said, sir. Folks, if you're thinking how you're going to get through the day tomorrow because the adrenaline wears off as you fall asleep, well, I want to say a thank you to Roaster Jack Coffee, folks. Roasting incredible beans since 1999. Visit roasterjack.com and use the code LIONS. You will take 20% off your next order. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please tell your friends and family about the show. Find us on social media like Twitter and Instagram, all major streaming platforms. That does include YouTube for the video version. We'd love to hear your thoughts and reviews. Check out more episodes and content at notthesameoldlions.com. And until next time, stay gritty, my friends.